Hey everyone, I thought I would do a video on supplements, kind of the best ones to kind of look for, what I kind of look for because I don't consider myself really a supplement expert, but I've sold them before and I've taken quite a bit. I've taken some that I've kind of researched, I've taken some that are recommended by my naturopath, and kind of like what probably the best overall general supplements. It really depends on kind of what you're going for because if you're a man or a woman and what kind of your health issues are and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, and there are some better, I guess, forms of supplements, like the literal, like physical form, whether it be powder or liposomal, or if you take it injection or IV and stuff like that. And I have done a video kind of on the absorption rates of different kind of forms of supplements and stuff. So I won't go too much into that, and kind of like the best way to kind of go about it and what to kind of look for when you're looking for supplements. The first thing is you really want to kind of focus on quality. Quality is really important, I think. Um, and there's only a few that I think are really high quality because they're either developed by naturopaths or recommended typically by naturopaths, and that is Thorne and Seeking Health. There's one other one that was, let me see if I can remember it. Yeah, Cellcore. Cellcore also has some good ones, but they tend to be kind of spendy. They kind of merge with another company, and so you do have to go through a practitioner or some kind. It doesn't always have to be a naturopath. Sometimes it can be like a health coach or whatever. I think that's how I found out about Cellcore. They are spendy. Cellcore, Thorne, and Seeking Health are a little bit on the spendy side, I think, but it's really important, I think, because a lot of them add fillers and stuff like that you um, really don't want in your supplements and stuff, and you really want them to be high quality supplements. I think that's really important because typically if you go to kind of, unless you go to maybe a supplement store, if you go through like a grocery store like Walmart, whatever, they'll typically have a lot of the cheaper ones that sometimes I do get, but it's just really not the good quality and best quality because supplements are sort of like kind of like a self-regulated industry, especially in the United States. I don't know how it is overseas and stuff like that, but quality is something you really want to look for. And kind of Thorne, Seeking Health, and Cellcore are my experience and kind of what I've tried are kind of the best. And also talking about kind of you want to kind of take it as few as possible. Really, you really want to try to get through your diet. Well, one thing to kind of focus on is really gut health because that affects absorption of not only supplements but also food and stuff like that. And so that's something that you really want to focus on, and you kind of want to be intentional and purposeful for what you're taking the supplements for. You don't just want to take a bunch of them, and typically you don't want to take them by themselves. You want to take something that has like a combination of stuff in it, and the different cofactors and stuff, because that's how your body absorbs it. And I do think a lot of people are deficient in a lot of stuff, and that's due to kind of a variety of factors, generally poor gut health. Um, Another is just modern farming practices, especially even if you get organic, which is somewhat better, I would say. Um, it's really hard to get like magnesium and certain chemicals and stuff like that, or not chemicals, nutrients, minerals, and vitamins because the soils are basically depleted of all these nutrients and stuff like that, and they typically do monocropping where they grow one plant over and over and over, and naturally, and in the past they would grow a variety of different plants and stuff like that, and I'm not an expert farmer or gardener, stuff like that, and so it's lower in zinc and magnesium and boron and other stuff, which are probably some of the major. I would say typically people are kind of low in it, especially magnesium because you need it on a daily basis. Um, there is one way that you can sort of circumvent this. And speaking of diet, is there is a way to get like more nutrition, and that is use superfoods. I'm not a huge fan of that term because people think like a superfood is going to be some magical remedy or food or something like that, or herb that will, fix everything. It just typically has more, I want to say nutrient bioavailability and more nutrition kind of packed into it. And there are some animal and plant-based ones. I mean, organ meats are kind of the best, I want to say, on the side of animal-based ones. Eggs are also, I think, kind of, I would say, are up there. That has a lot of good stuff in it, choline and amino acids and stuff like that. There are some plant-based. There's like matcha, which I think is kind of a superfood because it has all the antioxidants. It has theanine. It has the caffeine, which can have some benefits, but it's balanced by kind of the theanine, other stuff in the matcha that kind of balances out. And speaking of, so the forms are kind of, it depends on, because to be honest, you're not going to fully absorb whatever you take in a supplement form. Some of it's not going to be fully digested and stuff like that. And like I've talked about before about the different physical forms and absorption rates and stuff like that, is if you can, injection is up there, is probably one of the top ones. Injection or IV, but those tend to be spendy. There's also another way that's, there is sublingual, although they don't really make all those. They don't have them for every kind of supplement out there. There's liposomal, which is basically means that it's kind of wrapped or combined with fat, and so it will break down more in the later stages of digestion, and you'll absorb it more. You can sort of make those at home as well too. Another cheaper, probably the cheapest way, but also that you absorb it a lot, is probably suppositories, and they're relatively easy to make. You just need coconut oil or cocoa butter, like an ice cube tray. These for water bottles, so they're kind of long cylinders, like about maybe an inch or so, and very kind of thin. They're maybe half an inch or less. And those are kind of the best ways to kind of absorb stuff, and also if you're on kind of a budget. As far as like kind of what I typically use and what I find benefit of is I typically take like a multivitamin with kind of methylation support, typically from Seeking Health. I think omega fatty acids are also good. You can get them in a variety of forms. I do fish, or actually krill oil I think is best because it's combined with astaxanthin. I don't know if I'm saying that right. That it's sort of, it has, I believe it's more of it's a kind of combines with kind of the fatty acids and stuff like that, and it's better form and better quality, I think. And you can get krill oil kind of not super spendy and stuff like that, but I do take quite a bit when I do have it. ADK is another one. It's just vitamin ADK, because that's the best way to kind of take it, is with all those kind of cofactors and other nutrients and stuff like that, with vitamin A and D and K. I do often use binders, but that's kind of when I'm doing detox, so it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm fasting, sometimes I'll take it kind of like maybe once a day. If I'm doing, say, a coffee enema, I'll add some to the mixture, and I'll take some while I'm doing it. If I'm doing on a foot bath, I'll typically take some as well too, powdered, and then if I do have capsules, I'll mix it in like kind of a shaker bottle as well too. They're really good for detox and stuff like that. And I try to get ones that are kind of, it has a combination of different gut binders, but also stuff to help replenish as well too, because it does deplete some of your minerals and vitamins and stuff like that. It's also good to kind of introduce supplements like 1 or 2 at a time, because there is a rare chance that like you could have a bad reaction or whatever. And to also ramp it up if you're trying to get to like a maybe therapeutic dose or something like that. If it's something you've taken before and you haven't had an issue, I still won't take a ton of supplements at once, but you want to introduce them 1 or 2 at a time. That way you don't get any kind of complications or like interference between them, because some of them can kind of interfere with each other. And it's just kind of a general good idea to see like which ones you actually respond and actually help out the most. And while I don't really do this all that often, is I do like to take sometimes a break from supplements and stuff, just to see how your body kind of does without it, how it's kind of adjusting, if it's helping, if it's still helping, if it's not helping, and stuff like that. But yeah, I typically take 80K, omega, and multivitamin. That's typically kind of the 3 or so I use. I have typically for quite some time is I take creatine, because I think that helps with methylation, along with choline and stuff like that. Although I haven't taken that as a supplement in a while. Typically they're added to some multivitamins and stuff like that. It kind of depends. You really want to know kind of what you're trying to go for the supplements and what you're trying to improve and help and improve. It's really important, because you don't just want to take all this different stuff and hope for the best. You kind of want to be intentional and stuff about that. And you can kind of do your own research, but you can also maybe talk to a doctor or a naturopath. Naturopaths typically, while they do use medication, they typically use more supplements and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's about all I can think of so far for supplements and stuff like that. I will include like links below to like some of the ones that I like to take. I am kind of running low on some supplements, so I'm not taking as many as I can. I am trying some new things, kind of help maybe possibly with mental health and other stuff, because there are some, there was a royal jelly which I was looking into, because it not only helps with dopamine, but it also helps with, because it has BH4, it can help overall with serotonin and acetylcholine, because some people, depending on methylation defects and stuff like that, can produce less, basically neurotransmitters, but also they have less BH4 and stuff like that. But also, if I didn't mention already, I do take electrolytes and stuff like that. I do think taking stuff like magnesium, and I usually add some salt and potassium, and then typically creatine. I've been taking glutamine because I think that's good for, it helps heal the gut, but it also can help with weight training, but it can also help with your body producing more GABA, which is a relaxing, calming, inhibitory neurotransmitter of sorts. I also think, depending on how you kind of react, essential amino acids are a good one. It can help with a lot of things, especially if you're struggling to get enough protein, if you're kind of have issues with protein, because it can produce a lot of ammonia in your body, and some people with methylation defects, it can kind of mess stuff up, and you can counteract that by taking ornithine. I don't know if I'm saying that right, which is another amino acid, and some other stuff. I think royal jelly can also help with that and boosting nitric oxide. It kind of depends on what you're kind of trying to help with. Something I have been taking off and on, either suppository or orally, is high CFU kind of probiotics. I think that's really beneficial and helpful and healing for the gut, because it can help, especially if you have dysbiosis or candida, and it can help heal and repair the gut lining and stuff like that. There are some other stuff as well for that. Anyways, that's about all I can think of for supplements. Hopefully this is helpful. My brain fog has been kind of coming back and bad because I've been lacking supplements and dealing with a lot of other stuff. But yeah, I hope everyone is well. Hope everyone is having a good winter. Winter so far. It's kind of been mild so far here. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. What supplements do you use? What forms of supplements? Is there any brands and stuff you recommend? Also, before I forget, I think one of the cheapest places to get iHerb. I think I've used, I think I may have mentioned it before, but it's probably one of the cheaper places to get supplements. Not always. It's either that or Amazon. iHerb is basically you can get kind of wholesale prices are close enough to get supplements, and there's a lot of other stuff as well too. And there's often discounts, and there's often discount codes, and there's also, if you order a certain amount, you basically get free shipping, which Amazon you typically get cheap or free shipping as well too. I don't use iHerb as much. They don't have everything, but I like that in Amazon. Those are typically the best. Sometimes if it's like a peptide or something like that, I'll go through someone else. But yeah, I think I've said this before, but yeah, that's about all I can think of as far as supplements. Yeah, feel free to let me know what you guys use. If you have any questions, comment, email me at just the name Psynautical@gmail.com. Especially, I'm looking for new guests. I'm trying to figure out how to do guests moving forward. Getting a good recording software, because Zoom, I've had issues with Zoom and other stuff. Anyways, hope everyone is well, and I'll see you all later. Bye.